So today, it's pretty neat listening to that, ain't it? Today I'm going to clean the garden out. I moved chickens out of part of the garden. They were in the whole garden. And I need to get stuff in the ground, so I had to get them out of part of it. I want to spin you around and show you what they got going on. These 4 beds down here, which is 4 beds, and I have stakes in the ground. I don't know if you can see that in the camera or not, but there's stakes at every walkway in all the beds, and I strung a string down along that one, so I know where that bottom bed is. And then this here's where my Jimmy Red corn was last year, and so on and so forth. And I left them in this part up here. They got that part cleaned out pretty good. There's hardly any cover crops left. Up here there's still a bunch of cover crops, and they were hanging out more down below than they were up in this area. So I figured I'd put them up here where the rye and vetch still was, so they could get it cleaned up and kind of force them up there. So what this is going to do is going to change my bed arrangement around a little bit, so I won't be able to put my crops where I was originally planning to, because my onions and my leafy greens was going to go up in these upper 3 beds. Now they're going to go in the lower 3 beds, which isn't that big a deal, but it's, well, my lettuce will still go in the bed it's originally planned to go in, but my peas, spinach, kale, and chard will go in different beds than they were originally supposed to, and onions will go in different beds, and I'll just have to change it on my paper, but it's not that big a deal. So I'm going to start cleaning this up. For the most part, the only thing they got down here is corn stalks, which I needed to get them cleaned out anyways. I want to clean them up, cut the corn stalks down to the ground, rake out rake out the garden pretty good, and go from there and start building these beds back where they were. I used to have pretty nice walkways and kind of a raised bed area, but not really raised bed, but it was elevated somewhat from the walkway. So I'm going to get work and start putting this back together, and hopefully get some stuff put in the ground today. Hopefully. It's a few hours later. We had some packages delivered. You'll see that video. Hopefully you watch that one. It'll be out before this one is, so if you didn't watch yesterday's video, go back to it and watch it. Otherwise I'll let a link to it below. I didn't get a whole lot to this done. I got some done. I'm just spinning you around and I'll show you what I got going on here so far. So far I got this bed here cleaned out. That bed there is cleaned out. This bed here is cleaned out as good as it's going to be. This string here is actually the top of this bed. I don't have one at the bottom of that bed. I don't have enough string. This stake is the bottom of that bed, and then that's the walkway. I just raked everything in the walkways. It's always mulched the walkways anyway. So now I'm going to take this bed right here, it's in between this stake and this stake, and I'm going to rake it down. And I put this string here so I didn't get it back in that bed, and made sure I kept it out of that bed. I'm going to rake it up, and then this bed here, this top bed, it gets peas in it, so I'm going to get my cattle panels and make a trellis. As soon as I get this raked out, I'm going to put a trellis in. So basically, if you're wondering, mostly what I just raked out was just leaves and dead debris that ain't soil yet, ain't composted all the way, and I always let that in the walkways. Normally I cover up with plastic in the fall. After I get the fall leaves in my walkways, I cover it up with plastic and let it set all winter like that. This year I did not do that. I put cover crops in everything, and then last weekend, which today's Thursday, so last Friday I opened this area up to the chickens to let them eat all the cover crops and dig it up and all that crap, which I don't know that I'm going to do that again. They did a pretty good job getting the cover crops out of these bottom 4 rows. They did a really good job at it, but it's a lot of work to get the thing back to where it was. I do like the cover crop idea, but I need to do something that's the winter kill instead of like up there I got rye and hairy vetch and clover in there, you know, that stuff, which is what I had in all these beds. But I had some daikon radishes in here too. They all actually died in the winter. So I need to get a better winter kill cover crop. I'm gonna do that like that again, or something different. Because the chickens make a mess of it, and that's a pain in the butt to try to get that cleaned up. And I got the same issue on the big garden down below. So, all right, now I'm gonna fork these 3 beds and then get my trellis put in. Okay, I got all the beds forked, and I got my trellis started. Got a post here, one down that end. Got string strung between them. String strung between. That sounds like something you probably ought not to say, but that's all right. Anyhow, so I need to put holes like this. It's just 2 inch, or it's just 1.5 inch fiberglass piece pipes. What these are. I have a fair many of these, but I don't have enough to put them all in everywhere. So I'll have to put, I think, 2 or 3 other pieces. But I got some fiberglass angles, so I'll use it for the rest of them. But anyways, I'm gonna put these. I want to start putting these about every 8 foot apart. Maybe not quite 8 foot, right about there. And so my cattle panels are 16 foot long. So if I put these every 8, I'll have one in the middle and one on each end. Okay, so my battery ran dead. I just had to get a new one, but I got all the stakes in. I think you've seen me start these, but I don't know how far you got. And I put the cattle panels. I could put the cattle panels down there too. I don't know if you've seen any of that or not, but I don't know where the battery went dead. So anyways, that's where I'm at. So next thing I got to do is rake the bed out a little bit. And for that, for raking the bed out at this point, see, I already forked it. I'd already forked the bed. It's nice and loose. It's nice and loose. So of course it was nice and loose before I forked it. So then you just take your rake, your metal tined rake, and put it upside down, and then just drag it along, because you're not wanting to move stuff, you're just wanting to flatten it back out. If you put tines down this way, you'll drag your dirt around. You don't want to do that. All you just want to do is just flatten it out. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll put the seeds in. That literally just took a few seconds to do that, and then the bed looks so much nicer when you do that like that. So on my cedar, I just got an earthway. I put the pea plate in and let the thing down to 1 inch. So I need to run in the house and grab the pea seeds. All right, so I got the peas, and I put, I don't know, about half, probably half-ish of the hopper full. And now, like I said earlier, I just got it set up. I'm gonna just walk 1 row down each side of the trellis. This little cedar works pretty good. I know they make some better ones out there, but No more than this thing cost. This here worked great for me. I'll set you down, and I'll let you watch in real time. It only takes a minute to go this 50 foot row. It's actually not quite 50 foot, but it's really, really close. And that right there is how you plant, how I plant peas anyways. And I used almost all the peas that I had in the hopper. There ain't a whole lot left in there, as you can see. There for a little bit I was kind of concerned. What took so long to do, it shouldn't have taken as long as it did, but the side of this, the side right here, right there where this chain mounts to, kept hitting the trellis, and I kept having to move it out of the way. So that's the only reason it took as long as it did to do that. So what I'm going to do on the rest of this in that bed, which ain't going to be till the sun goes down a little bit. It's 80 degrees outside here today, which is ridiculous for this time of year. I've never in my life seen it this hot on April 13th. It's 80, I think it was 81 last I checked the temperature. I'm in shorts and t-shirt and got my sun hat on, which is crazy for this time of year. So I'm going to put spinach down each side, and I have those in the garden, or in the greenhouse rather, sorry. I'm going to plant spinach. I'll put it, here's the pea row as you see me just put in. Here's the edge of the bed. I'm going to put every, I don't know, 6 or 8 inches down each side of this. I'll put peas, or I mean spinach, sorry. This bed here that was the Jimmy Red corn last year is going to be kale and Swiss chard. And then this bed right here down the center is going to be some big onions. I can't remember what kind we got. We got 2 different varieties. And then down each side is going to be the little green onions. These rows got switched around, like I said at the beginning of the video. This bed right here is going to be carrots. And then them 3 beds up there where Mr. Ostrich is standing. He is a beautiful rooster. But anyways, these here is going to be, 2 of them will be green beans and 1 will be lettuce. So that's where this garden is for now. So when the sun goes down here, I will get the rest of the garden put in tonight. I'm hoping. If I don't get it done after supper tonight, I will put it in. I will put it in the morning first thing, but right now it's just too hot to bring in plants out here. So I'm gonna wrap this video up right here. I'll bring you along tomorrow, or maybe even I might bring you out here after a bit, but I'll let you see the rest of the garden when I get it put in. But I got all the other plants are started in the greenhouse, and I need to get them out of there anyways, because I gotta I got a lot of plants that's going in the greenhouse. I need to get our garden stuff out of there. But and then what I'm putting in right now is not going to hurt nothing, hurt anything this winter, or when it gets cold again, because we know it's going to freeze more. It's not going to stay like this. But anyways, I was going to wrap this up. So if you're not subscribed, please do so. Please like, share with your friends and family. Till we meet again, take care and God bless.